How surprised were you? How surprised were the patrons at Augusta National about just how tough the conditions were?
We could kind of see it coming from the practice rounds earlier in the week. A lot of the players were saying the course was playing as firm and fast as they could remember in recent years. Fred Couples saying on a Wednesday he had never seen the greens as fast as they were. A big departure from November when the temperatures were cooler and the golf course was much more scoreable and soft. Coming in, we knew this would be a very different Masters, and that's what we're getting so far. Very tough to score out here.
What's the feeling like? I mean, this is again a live sporting event. We see patrons out there. That's what they call the fans at Augusta National. What exactly is the sense? How does it feel overall having those spectators back on the facility grounds?
I'd say it's a sense of gratitude, a sense that we're almost returning to normal in this era of COVID-19. It's not as many patrons on the grounds as normal, but more than we saw in November. And it's kind of one step forward to golf returning to 100%, hopefully soon. Golf obviously was one of the leading sports during the pandemic because you can socially distance safely, be outside in nature. So I think a lot of people on the ground are just thankful. The feeling is gratitude that there's golf to talk about and that there are patrons on the ground to enjoy it.
One of the big things that we saw and that really struck a chord with me was watching the ceremonial open of the Masters this year. I know that you had spent some time over the years, but just this week alone with Lee Elder, a man who has been at the forefront of a diversity initiative in golf for decades at this point now. Can you take us through the story of your relationship with him and what he's meant to you and how exactly he's impacted you in golf storytelling?
Sure. I first covered Lee Elder in 2008. I wrote a story on him, a profile for Sports Illustrated magazine, and we've kept in touch on and off through the years. And of course, yesterday he was a ceremonial starter alongside Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player to honor Lee Elder for breaking the color barrier here at the Masters in 1975. So 46 years later, as an 86-year-old man, his life has come full circle here. In 1975, he had to rent 2 houses because he faced so many death threats. It's a very similar walk of life that Henry Aaron faced in the 1970s as he chased down Babe Ruth's all-time home run record. They, in fact, were dear friends, Lee Elder and Hank Aaron. So neat to see him receive some adulation on the first tee yesterday. A lot of love, warm applause for a man whose road was very different than one for Gary Player or Jack Nicklaus because of the color of his skin.
You know, Damon, I know that you were kind of covering things as well down there. Augusta National Chairman Fred Ridley is in focus a lot here. The state of Georgia in focus on the political front because of some voting laws that can be seen as discriminating against certain people out there in terms of voting. I mean, his statement was, I believe, as everyone in our organization, this is Fred Ridley, the Augusta National Chairman, that the right to vote is fundamental in our democratic society. No one should be disadvantaged in exercising that right. How much has Fred Ridley kind of taken Augusta National into this kind of new generation of golf in this sport? And how much is that focal point on Georgia going to be something that Augusta National will deal with in the coming weeks and months?
Don, was very different than things I've been used to hearing. I've covered 11 Masters. Usually the chairman, they kind of keep their focus on the golf course, inside the ropes. And for Fred Ridley on Wednesday to say that, disenfranchisement of voters is anathema to our beliefs here at Augusta was a different tack than the club has taken in recent years. I think it's a reminder of the era that we're living in. Many discussions about diversity, equity, inclusion are top of mind for a lot of companies and a lot of entities, golf included. And I think Fred Ridley's comments were kind of an echo of that sentiment in the current state of the United States.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.